I'm beginning to favor the opinion of those who think that Nigeria is not a real place. I'm beginning to side the opinion of the people who think that we are living in a jungle. Because so many things baffle the imagination of any rational human being. When it happens, you ask yourself, is this even real? How can a nation of Nigeria's caliber be entertaining certain situations we are seeing? I'm talking about the issue that happened on the 5th between KWAM1 and Value Jet. Somebody blocking an aircraft. Let's discuss that. This remains the diary of a broken man, where we dissect political, economic, and social issues concerning our country, Nigeria, and Africa as a whole. Once again, remember to subscribe, to like, to share, and to comment. So, on the 5th of August 2025, something happened. A musician nicknamed KWAM1 or K1, Wasiu is his name, wanted to board an aircraft, Value Jet. I think K200 or KM200, something like that. So KS200. And you know the regulation that you do not carry a certain amount of liquid into the aircraft round the world. I mean, in this country that I live in, you don't try it. You don't take. In fact, I remembered one of my worst experiences, a perfume I bought for nearly $300, and I wanted to board the aircraft. I forgot that it was in my bag, side bag. I had to let the perfume go. The only thing that saved me was that it was a day journey, go and come back. I had to beg somebody within the airport to keep it for me, and he accepted and kept it for me. I went and came back. I showed him my return ticket, came back and collected it from him. Otherwise, I would have lost nearly $400 worth of perfume because it passed the ML. Now, somebody wanted to board an aircraft. I remember the regulation is that it must be in a transparent container. But this guy came up with a golden container. Nobody knows what it is in it. And they were telling you the regulation, and you insisted that they must do what you want because you know who knows who. And all of a sudden, you even attempted pouring it on the security personnel, the crew members who are telling you the right thing to do. It is because of the way Nigeria is. Where does it happen in the world that the security agents and the crews are telling you what to do? Whoever you are, be you the musician or whatever, and you flout that, still went ahead to block the aircraft. And then the pilots, even though they didn't observe the safety protocols, they waited and they begged, and they were even begging him. Because I know in certain countries where I live in the country that I live in, he would be whisked away and straight to prison. I know if you try such a thing in China, what you will experience, your mouth cannot explain. If you try such in the United States, if you try such in so many other countries, you cannot explain your experience. So it baffles my imagination. It baffles my imagination. Now let's look at the civil aviation law. And you remember the civil aviation law, Nigerian Civil Aviation Regulation, Nigeria CAS 2023, and the National Civil Aviation Security Program, NCASP, aligns with the International Civil Aviation Organization, ICAO, Annex 17, which govern aviation safety and security, and they have regulations for what happens within aviation round the globe. It's not just Nigeria, it's not just any other country. Round the globe, if you must operate aircraft, if you must run an airline, these are the regulations you must follow for the safety protocol of every other individual in that aircraft. And sometimes the aircraft carries about 200 people. And you know how aircrafts are. Any single accident wastes so many lives. So the precautions are very much deeper than any other, like how we do in buses, and we can take chances in buses because it is safe, it's closer to land. We can easily stop the bus and people alight. But in aircraft, and then you see what happened with Air India, flight 170. You see, once only one person survived. The rest of the people just went like that, in flames. So let's look at the civil aviation. So ACAO and X-17 and NCAPs restricts passengers from carrying liquids exceeding 100 ml through security checkpoints, except for medically necessary items that are declared verified. In this case, it was not verified. Secondly, KWAM1's flask suspected to contain alcohol violates this regulation. He claimed it was medically prescribed water, but preliminary investigation confirmed it was an alcohol. So he was even lying to the checkpoint people. So preliminary investigation confirmed it was an alcohol, and he fails to comply with the request to surrender it. Now, the next one is his unruly passenger behavior. Now, deliberately disrupting flight operations, such as preventing an aircraft from taxiing, is considered unlawful interference under Nigerian civil aviation law and may be treated as terrorism-related offense. Now, KWAM1, including pouring liquid on aviation security AFSEC officer and obscuring the aircraft or obstructing the aircraft, were described as a hostage situation by Aviation Minister Festus Keyamo, including a severe breach of safety protocol, endangerment of safety. The Nigerian Civil Aviation Regulation emphasized that actions endangering passenger, crew, ground personnel, or airport of operation are serious offenses. KWAM1's interference with the aircraft movement posed risk to safety, potentially leading to delays, cancellations, or catastrophic incidents. Now let's talk about accountability and the rule of law here, because everything has to do with rule of law and accountability. The regulation mandates impartial accountability regardless of an individual's status. The Federal Airport Authorities of Nigeria (FAN) and the FAN and the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority (NCAA) has stressed that no one is above the law, and KWAM1 prominence as a public figure does not exempt him from consequences. So actions taken and punishment imposed so far. The incident prompted swift responses from FAN, NCAA, and the Value Jet, reflecting the seriousness of the violation. The following were the actions that have been taken so far or reported. 1. Sanction on Value Jet crew members. So both the first pilot and the second pilot, assistant pilot, were both suspended for the meantime. So NCAA suspended the pilots of VK 201 for breaching safety protocol and by attempting to depart without completing mandatory pre-departure clearance procedures, likely influenced by KWAM1's disruption. Another thing is action against KWAM1. The Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority petitioned the Attorney General of the Federation (AGF) and the Inspector General of Police for a comprehensive criminal investigation into KWAM1's conduct. According to NCAA, Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority, they have sanctioned him for 6 months, banned him from flying, placed him on no-fly list for the next 6 months, pending the investigation and the outcome of the investigation. But for now, he is banned from flying for the next 6 months. The measure is consistent with global practices anyway. And then he should be fined too, according to international regulation. Another thing is administrative fines. Nigerian aviation law allows for administrative fines for passengers who violate security protocols, similar to systems in countries like Singapore, Australia, United States, where immediate fines escalate to criminal charges for for serious offenses. So reputational and societal impact, because this, whether you like it or not, has a big impact on our reputation as a nation. So, as a public figure, KWAM1's actions set a precedent for societal behavior. Failure to hold him accountable could erode public trust in aviation authorities and normalize unruly conduct. For Christ's sake, you remember when I think it was Adam Soshomole who blocked a whole airline from boarding their passengers because he was late and he was not allowed to, because he was already late. I remember, I think it was last week that I had flight at 4:30 and I miscalculated. I thought it was 4:30 in the morning. I didn't know it was 16:30. By the time I saw it, because I was in a conference, by the time I saw it, I already finished with the conference anyway. I had to run through the taxi, run to the airport to meet up with the flight. And by the time I got there, it was past 45 minutes to the boarding time. So they refused. It was a huge sum of money. I had to book another flight for the next 2 hours and wait in the airport for the next 2 hours. You are not that important. The thing is that some Nigerians, especially these people who see themselves as celebrities, because we don't have celebrities in Nigeria. If we do, so many things will not be possible. Because we have some level of rascality going on in Nigeria, and people arrogate themselves some kind of authority, and this kind of self-overrating that happens in Nigeria. People overrate themselves, probably because poverty is still the problem, that some people still worship money and worship celebrities. Because if people don't worship celebrities, certain things wouldn't be possible. Certain things wouldn't be possible. So he should be punished. Because Adam Soshomole did his own, nothing happened. He explained it away. People even defended him for acting rascally at the airport, disrupting the peace, and the optics was so bad. It was so bad. And now KWAM1 blocking an entire aircraft, refusing an airplane to move, and then the pilots even passed the protocols and then had to whisk into the taxiways. It's uncalled for a nation like Nigeria, 65 years of existence, and we are still having these kind of issues. So let's look at the critical perspectives. While the establishment narrative, as reported by FAN and Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority and the media outlets, paint KWAM1's action as a clear violation, the lack of finalized investigation result leaves room for skepticism. KWAM1's defense suggests a possible misunderstanding or procedural overreach by the airline or security personnel. The swift suspension of pilot and the call for no-fly list may also indicate a heavy-handed response to protect institutional reputation, rather than solely address safety concerns. Nonetheless, the legal framework prioritizes safety and accountability. An ongoing investigation will clarify the extent of the culpability. And then, one last thing. I saw he issued an apology. Yeah, he issued an apology. And in the apology, after the apology, people were commenting, condemning. I remember I posted under the apology that section, the Civil Aviation Law 483, section cap 883 or something like that, has a clear punishment for such and consequence for such actions, both for him and the pilots, and even the airline itself. All of them should be punished. There are no amount of apology subsidies for the show of shame that happened on the 5th of August. And then Abike Dabiri, some things baffle me in Nigeria. Some people we see in places of authorities in Nigeria baffle me. She even commented that to err is human. Yeah, 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 yeah. I mean, how do you explain this? An authority of that, that caliber coming to meddle with a critical issue like this. To err is what? They will he try that in any other country? I mean, can he try that in the United States of America? You remember, well, there's this doctor that commented on the issue. If it is in America, you will be taken to the psychiatry, involuntarily placed in the psychiatry, because a rational human being cannot do that, standing before an aircraft. So let me know what you think in the comment section. Do you think the punishments you know, were commensurate? Do you think they were high-handed? Do you think he should have been punished more? Or do you think airplane pilots were punished, or given the punishment they do not deserve? Or should they have been punished even more? What do you think? Let me know in the comment section. Remember to subscribe, to like, to share, and to leave a comment. This remains the diary of a broken man. And I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.